Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to quickly introduce myself. My name is Dmitry, and I am a first-year student of Faculty of International Relations at Petrozavodsk State University. The topic of my presentation is aircraft industry of Russia. My presentation includes such parts as introduction, aircraft industry of Russia during the First World War, aircraft industry of Russia during the Second World War, aircraft industry of Russia nowadays, summary, conclusion, and references. Today, Russia is a country in which the aviation industry is very developed. The aim of my speech is to consider the evolution of Russian aviation at different stages of its existence. The history of Russian aviation starts with Sikorsky Russian Knight S-21, also known as Ruski Vites. It's a unique vehicle, as its four-engine version was the first four-engine aircraft in the world, designed by Igor Sikorsky and built at the Russian Baltic Railroad Car Works in St. Petersburg in early 1913. Sikorsky aspirations for the Ruski Vites proved to be short-lived. While parked on the runway on the 23rd of June 1913, the aircraft was crushed by an engine that fell off a single-seat moraine in the aircraft during a landing. Sikorsky decided not to repair the seriously damaged Ruski Vites and began working on his next brainchild, the Ilya Muromets. Sikorsky, Ilya Muromets, S-27E were a class of Russian pre-World War large four-engine commercial airliners and military heavy bombers used during the First World War by the Russian Empire. The Ilya Muromets aircraft, as it appeared in 1913, was a revolutionary design. During the First World War, it became the first four-engine bomber to equip a dedicated strategic bombing unit. This heavy bomber was unrivaled in the early stages of the war, as the Central Power had no aircraft capable enough to rival it until much later. Thus, the Sikorsky aircraft series proves the uniqueness of the initial stage of aircraft manufacturing in Russia. Subsequently, such a success can be repeated by domestic designers during the Second World War. It's impossible to talk about the aviation industry in Russia during the Second World War without mentioning well-known Il-2 aircraft, a Soviet attack unit. The number of aircraft produced is amazing, 36,000, which makes Il-2 the most produced combat aircraft in aviation history. The designers called the aircraft they developed a flying tank. Luftwaffe fighter pilots nicknamed the Il-2 a concrete aircraft. According to some Soviet authors, the Wehrmacht soldiers called it the plague. The next aircraft is less known than Il-2, but it had a huge impact on the aviation industry of Russia. Yak-1 was a Soviet fighter aircraft of the Second World War. It formed the basis for subsequent developments from the Yakovlev Bureau, but more important, it formed the basis for the development of turbojet aircrafts in Russia. Yak-1 was used as the basis for the creation of the Yak-15, the first Russian jet fighter. Talking about the modern Russian aircraft industry, I have to mention Su-57, a stealth, single-seat, twin-engine, multi-role, fifth-generation jet fighter being developed since 2002 for air superiority and attack operations. The fighter is designed to have super cruise, super maneuverability, stealth, and advanced avionics to overcome the prior generation fighter aircraft as well as ground and naval defenses. The Su-57 is intended to succeed the MiG-29 and Su-27 in the Russian Air Force. For present time, only 11 Su-57s are built because the price of the aircraft is up to 42 million United States dollars. To put it more simply, Russian aircraft industry develops rapidly, as domestic designers have to compete with foreign enterprises. Today, Russian Air Force includes long-range, military transport, operational, tactical, and army aviation. According to open sources, in total more than 1,800 military aircrafts. Also, hundreds of civilian aircrafts need to be added to all of this. In conclusion, I would like to state that the way Russian aircraft industry is developing is unique and it's truly undoubtable. Russia has one of the most powerful air forces in the world, and this was proven in many conflicts where Russian aircrafts took part in. Also, today in Russia the segment of civil aviation is actively developing, which means that the sphere of the aviation industry in Russia is far from stagnation. Thank you for the attention.